but Ronnie.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing you my deck profile on my first place Red Broly deck. Really quick before we start, shout out to D9 Games for hosting the tournament. It's really fun, and let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. So let's take a look at the leader. He's really good. On his unawakened side, once per turn you can add a card from your life to your hand. He gains critical. And then his other activate main, you get a 1 red extra card from your deck to your hand with energy cost of 1 and negate that for the duration of the game. So we're always going to get out Vampa with that. When he awakens, he untaps 2, which is really good because we want to get a lot of swaps in. So on the awakened side, if you have a Broly card in play, he gains critical, and then when he swings, he's 20k crit, and you draw 1, which is really good. So he also has a really good auto ability where when one of your Broly cards are removed from the battle area or KO'd, you can drop a card from your hand and play a 4-drop or less from your hand for free. So it helps you keep the chain alive. And this leader is so good. The 20k crit pressure and drawing 1 is amazing. Love this leader, is so good. So we're running 2 Vampa. We could search this out with our leader ability, and I think 2 is enough. Running 3 is just kind of too clunky. I rarely didn't see either one. I usually had one in my and just use it in energy or whatever. But so you can activate main once per turn, choose some card in your life, add it to your hand, and then look up top 7 for a Broly, Paragus, or Golemite with 5k power or less and play it. And if you play it, you have to drop a card. But this card really helps you run the deck. Definitely play this turn 1 every time if I can, which usually I can. So we're running 4 Boss. It's a 2-drop 5k blocker. When you play it, you can get any Broly card, energy cost 5 or less, and add it to your hand, which is super good. Definitely want to play this with Vampa if you don't have a 1-drop Broly in hand, but if you do have a 1-drop Broly, then play it. So we're running 4 1-drop Brolys also. So they have swap 3 for free, which is really good. You can only play once per turn as the permanent on this, which is kind of interesting. So I guess you can't spam or whatever. But when you have a bomb play, it becomes a 15k attacker, and swap 3 for free. And we're running 4 of the 3-drops. So this guy is 9k. He has servant. So when he attacks, he's 19k. He can swap into the 4-drop for 1 energy. And when you play him, if you don't have a paragus on the field, you can play a paragus from your hand. So we're running 4 paragus. When you play paragus, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck for any red Broly or red unison with a specified cost of 1, and he has Overlord. I rarely use Overlord, only when I'm like, if my opponent stalls me out and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really need this card anymore, I could just draw a card for it. But he's pretty good, definitely good for searching. We're running 4 4-drops. So by this time, we definitely want to have our unison out because all the Brolys we play from now on plus up our unison a good bit. So when you play this guy, he has servant, so he's a 20k attacker. So he's a 4-drop 10k, and he has servant, so he's a 20k attacker. And you add a marker to your unison, and your opponent has to warp a card from their hand, and they get it back at the end of their next turn. So they can't do anything with that card. It's really good hand removal, and applies a lot of pressure with that 20k. And you can swap 5 for 1. So we are running 4 5-drops. Boom, 30k critical. And he has the same ability where you add a marker and then your opponent has to warp a card from their hand. 30k crit. You can swap it to the 6-drop if your opponent has 3 more energy or you have 4 more energy. So we are running 3 6-drop Brolys right here. This dude is insane. Double strike, critical, 6-drop, 35k. So when you play this guy, you give your unison 2 markers, and then you choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's hand blindly and warp them, and they don't get it back until the end of their next turn. So this guy, such a good finisher. I usually don't get to turn 3 that much. I usually win at turn 2, I would say. But if they end up stalling me out, boom, just drop this guy for sure. And the Broly swap engine is just amazing. So powerful. Hand removal, critical. It's amazing. So we are running 4 Piccolo Jr. Giant Forces. This unison, so good. I'm so glad I picked it up when I did because it spiked in price like right after I got them. But it's a 9k specified cost of 1 unison right here. And basically when your opponent takes a life for any reason, once per turn, you can add a marker to him. And then his +1 is minus when your opponent's battle card's 5k. We're playing 2 Yamcha merciless barrages, really good free counterplay that negs 15k to 2 of your opponent's battle cards. And you got a 15k on the board also. It's really solid, really solid. So then we got our -6 ability. So -6, you can choose 2 red battle cards in your deck with energy cost 3 or less and 19k power or less and play them. So we definitely play Fearless Pan. She's so good. Gives all your battle cards and leader cards plus 5k and double strike for the turn. So all those crit double strikes and your leader, the 25k critical double strike without even comboing. She's super good, and she's a blocker with barrier. She's really good. We're only playing one of her. There's never been a time where I haven't been able to play her with this ability. I've always had her in my deck, thankfully. So that's super clutch. Then we're running 2 Bardock the Resolute. So basically, if your opponent takes their life to try and self-awaken or sparking negate, you play this guy for free. He is a 15k double striker, and if your opponent activates any counter skill, you untap it once per turn. Super good. I actually play this guy quite a bit, especially against like Invoker, because they have that ability where they take a life or whatever. So these guys are definitely super solid. I think 2 is enough. I think 3 might be a little too clunky. But yeah, these unisons and Fearless Pan, everything is just so good. Super combo, we got 4 raditz Saiyan Youth. So you put 1 card from your hand under your deck and draw 2, and it's 10k power, combo power. Pretty simple, but it's really powerful. Then we are actually playing some Overwhelm here. So we have Trunks, Time Regulator for to help our hand a little bit. Yeah, draw 2, warp 1, which is pretty good. We have Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, Man on a Mission. The double strike critical, Overwhelm 6 for free, which is really good. A lot of times you tap out in this deck. Pretty much every turn you tap out. And just having this extra little power right here could win you games for sure. Or that double strike crit is definitely really pesky. And then we're playing 1 Mira Creator Absorbed. So you can Overwhelm 4 for 1 energy, and it gains plus 5k for every card in your warp. And it's a 30k. So this is definitely a finisher. I would definitely play one of these in every deck. This card is so good. Then we got our negate. So we got 2 Unending Awakenings. Basically, a Sensu Bean, if your leader card's Red Saiyan, negate the attack, and it gains plus 5k for the duration of the turn. And it's really good against aggro. And I used to play 3 Is That All You Got? But I just feel like this is better. But Is That All You Got? You negate the attack for 1 energy, drop a card, and choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and negative 15k. So it really depends what's happening to play that. And then we got 1 max power kamehameha. Just a counter attack, and you can remove big bosses from the board, which is really good. All right, let's go ahead and look at our sideboard really quick. We got 1 Cease to Exist. I never actually played it. I just had it in here against Invoker, but I never wanted to pay 3 for it. I usually didn't get that far, just didn't play for whatever reason. We got 1 more Bardock just to have that extra pressure against a deck that really likes to take your life, like Mecha Frieza or Invoker or something like that. We got 3 more Is That All You Got against skillless decks. That'll be very good against those. 2 more Unending Awakenings for more aggro decks. Really good deciding there. We're running 2 of the Golemites, so you can play with Ba. They're a 2-drop blocker. When you combo with them, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 30k power and KO it if your opponent has 3 or less energy. So basically, really good for decks that play big battle cards really quick, and they're pretty useful. So my matchups were Gogeta Xeno, Invoker, and the starter Broly. And I only lost 1 time to Invoker, but I ended up beating him best 2 out of 3. So it was a pretty good tournament. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Peace out.